All right, so what is next? Well, it's Pacific Northwest Kai is here. We got another deck profile of the Masked Saiyan. He's an original leader from the starter deck, I believe, that came out a while back around set, I think, 3 or maybe even 2. Filled with a lot of overrun cards and a lot of black card support out that deck. If you didn't know what he does, basically, once per turn, his activating is you place the top 3 cards of your deck into the drop area, and if you hit a black card, this card gains critical. And if you hit a card of any other color, it also gets a 5k bump. So essentially, it's going to be a 15k beater off the start, and then it's always going to gain that critical. No matter what, it's going to get either or, because when you mill, you're either going to hit that uh, uh, red, yellow, blue, green card, or you're going to hit the black card. And in this deck, we're running a lot of red and black cards with a little bit of blue in there just for added support. And then on his Awakened side, you got Bardock Unbound by Darkness. He has the same effect as the front side. Activate main once per turn, place top 2 cards to the top of your deck, get either critical. If you have a black card and any other color, you get 5k bump, so it's going to be a 20k attacker. And then this auto is also when this card attacks, draw 1 card. So basically, just get into the deck. We're going to be running 4 Intensifying Power Trunks just so we can awaken. So this is a, it's not a self-awakening leader, and he does draw 2, so he doesn't untap. Unfortunately, just because back in the day it wasn't a lot of untap leaders. They would just really get into it. But it was all about drawing more cards to your hand. So what Intensifying Power Trunks does when he attacks, you take 1 card from your life, and then it gains 10,000 attack and also critical for the turn. So it kind of fits the flow of our leader in our deck. And then we're running 4 Saiyan Cabos that does almost the exact same thing as Intensifying Power Trunks, but instead of getting that 10k critical, it's going to get that 10k double strike when it attacks. You still get to take a life as well, because we really do want to awaken as fast as possible, just so we can get up to that 20k strike, critical strike, instead of that 15k. Then for our double strikers, we got the Hidden Power East Kai, Supreme Kai. When you combo with this card, choose one of the cards, and do choose, because this one is up to, so you can't miss a target. And that card gains double strike. It's also a 1 cost 10k combo, so you get that 10k plus that double strike. Then we're going to be running 4 Yamchas. It's a skillless card. Just for our combinations, we can get into that a little bit later when we get to our overrun cards. But it's a 20k 2 cost card. You do need 2 reds, but we are playing mostly red, so we'll be able to drop that if we need to. Then we're running 4 Furthering Destruction Champas, because we do really want to get those double strikes in as fast as possible. It does exactly the same thing as Hidden Power East Kai, but this one you don't have to choose, so you can't miss a target. You have to choose a target. But it does have to be the attacking card, obviously. It still costs the 1, but you get the 10k and double strike. Then for our other skills card, we're running the 2 cost Super Saiyan Vegeta with that 20k attack power as well. So for our super combos, we're running that Supreme Kai of Time, World's Protector. When you have 5 cards in your warp, it doesn't matter what color your leader is, you get to draw 1 card. So it's active as soon as you have 5 cards in your warp. Usually we get this active by, if not turn 1, definitely turn 2. Then we're running Dimensional Support Trunks, and this is why we use those skillless battle cards, because for the cost of 1 energy and an overwhelm of 3, so just having 3 in your drop, when you play this card with Overwhelm, you can choose 1 skillless battle card from your deck that's 2 costs or less, and so I run that Yamcha Super Saiyan Vegeta, because they're the strongest of those skillless battle cards for 2 costs or less. You can play that card and it gains critical for a duration of turn, and it stays on the battlefield, so that's the best part of that as well. So your opponent's going to have to get rid of that, or it's going to be a 20k striker on the field going forward. For other overwhelm cards, we have Revived Ravager Vegeta. For him, he has critical base skill, and then he also has overwhelm of 3 for no cost of energy for that one. And when you play this card, you can, with overwhelm, you can just place the top 3 cards top of your deck into the drop area, so it just replenishes your drop, so you can overwhelm again for the next turn. And then obviously, since our leader does that too, you can just overwhelm for bigger cards. Then our Mirror from Darkness. He's a 4 cost Overwhelm card as well. When you play this card with Overwhelm, he gains critical. Reason why we play this guy, because he has a 20,000 attack power, so it's going to be 20,000 critical going forward. Your opponent's going to at least have to waste 2 cards to get past that or take that crit life. Then we're playing 2 Trunks Power Overseeing of Time. The reason why I really only play 2 of this guy is just because I only mainly have 2, and I typically like to play cards I actually own. But with a cost of 2 energy, when you play this card, you can choose any battle card from your warp, and then you can add it to your hand. He's also a double striker. If I had a choice, I'd probably play 3 or maybe even 4 of these guys. Probably just 3 actually, because I do want to keep my MG open for those double strikes as well. Then we're running 4-dimensional Banisher Foods just because we don't have any board white presence at all. There's no way for us to kind of clear the board if they have so many blockers, or if they have a boss card they got out really early first turn. We're just gonna have to let that sit and go straight for their leader. We just want to kind of avoid that and then try to wipe their field and basically hit them with like a double strike from any of our cards. Okay. Then we're gonna be running counters. We got 4 of the Power Burst cards. If our leader card is black and we have Spark and 5, typically we don't have Spark and 5, but if we do have Spark and 5, basically what we're gonna do is to take that life and we can add one cost black card back from our drop area to our hand. But we don't really run those at all, unfortunately. But for going into our side deck, we do run. We're gonna have 2 Dark Power Black Masked Saiyans just for those Shinrons as well, and then we have 1 Dende new to the job again, or 2 Dende new to the job again for the Shinron, and we're future proofing. We have the No Escape Son Goku. That's for the Gogeta deck, the red Gogeta deck that's going to be coming out that likes to put cards back to their hand. We're running 3 time control Konoas as well, just for the Shigesh, because we got to respect the Shigesh. They're running 1 dark control Demigod Demigra, 3 dark plots for the lone games, and then Mirror Creator Absorb, and then 2 temporal darkness Demigra. Basically the dark power Black Masked Saiyan, just for those child wishes. So if they child wish or anything like that, or even chain attack Xenol, we will be able to neg 2 cards from their hand when they do that. Dende's obviously just to stop the objections, and then the Majin Buu decks are going to be coming out, and the Vegito decks that's going to be coming out next set as well. Just because we can, if they place a card in energy using a skill, we can basically neg them 1 energy for the cost of 3 of ours, unfortunately. But then we're playing time control. Konoha obviously doesn't allow Shigesh basically or super combos to play cards off of super combos. We got the dark control Demiga, got our dark control demon god Demigra. For it's a dark overwhelm card. So basically, when you play it, you just need to have the 3, I believe, 4 black cards in your drop area. When you play it, it stays on the field, and when it attacks, your opponent has to discard 1 card from their hand or put it to the drop area. And if it's a battle card, you can combo with that card. So it's kind of eats out of their hand and adds another more attack power to you. And then with Dark Plot, you can bring out anyone for the cost of 4 energy. You can bring out any of your overwhelm cards from the warp back to the, or not any of them, but 4 costs or less from the warp, and then back to the battle area, and then you can untap 3 energy. So we typically can go for like any of our, you can go for uh, mostly for the crit cards or the double strikers like Trunks Power, Overseer of Time, the Mirror from the Darkness, or not Mirror from Darkness, but like Revive, Ravager, Vegeta, just because they already have critical and double strike. And then we have Mirror Creator Absorb, like I said, for those long games. So if like we add it back to our hand with like Trunks Power, Overseeing of Time, next turn we can kind of put that double strike onto as well. And Temple of Darkness Demigra, when we play him, since he's a dark overwhelm card as well for cost 4 energy and 7 black cards, basically you can just play him. He stays on the field, and when you play him, you can warp 1 card from your opponent's battle area, and then bring back 1 card from your warp 4 cost or less back to the field. So you can kind of extend those plays as well. So basically, that's my deck profile. You kind of want to hit your opponent fast. You can definitely play this deck with about 2 energy. There's tons of times I don't want to charge because it's Janemba and everything, which is definitely a terrible matchup for us. But if we hit Janemba fast, we can bring Janemba down to about 5 to 4 life instantly, all crit, so it doesn't add to their hand. That way, they're kind of forcing the awakening. They won't get any of their pluses because they do use those unbreakables and things like that. But once they run out of breakables, they just can't really defend anymore. It's when they go to turn 3 and turn 4, and they have those Vegetos and Deadly Defenders and things like that that kind of stop you. But this deck is basically just to hit your opponent hard and fast. That way they can't recover, or have enough time to recover, and they're always looking out for those double strikes. And since we run 8 double strikes with 6 more double strike cards as well, that's technically potentially 14 double strike attacks that we can deliver to our opponent at any time. So basically that's this deck. Just trying to revamp some old leaders. Hopefully going forward when we doing some other deck profile with some other old leaders, just trying to revive them. As of right now, we're only using a couple of the new cards like Hidden Power East, Supreme East Kai, and then also Power Burst. Not too many other new cards from the new set, except for our side. But going forward, like with the new cards that are going to come out set 6, we can definitely revamp this deck a little bit. But it's still old but goodie combination. So if you guys want to try it, definitely
try to test it out during tournaments or anything like that. And if you guys like the video or anything, share it, comment on it, or give me some advice on like what else I should have put in, things like that. But going forward, please do like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time.